Welcome to our Azure Learning YouTube channel. Specifically, in this session, we're gonna talk about top 5 Azure services. Okay, why we using that services and what are all the benefits we can get from that particular services. Okay, so these are all the things today we're gonna see. Okay, so I'm going to take a first service which has Azure VM. Okay, Azure VM, it's literally a computer which is present on cloud. See, let's take an example to understand this Azure VM. See, if you want to execute an application or software, in that time you should have a physical resource, which means physical hardware you need. Okay, and then there are also some things you need to perform, like to set up the connectivity things, to provisioning the internet, to mapping the storage devices. Like you have to do many things there. Okay, but if we gonna get the same thing from cloud vendor, means um, that particular vendor will take over everything. See, now we gonna get VM from Azure, means Azure would take over the connectivity things and then maintenance things. Okay, we don't worry about the maintenance. So that most of the developer would choose Azure VM to develop their application. See, I have a sample architecture diagram. See, this is our virtual machine. So to access a virtual machine, we should use the security group. This security group which allows the users to access our virtual machine. Okay, and then the main important thing is virtual network and then subnet. These two things should be there. Without subnet or without virtual network, you cannot place a VM in Azure. Okay, but in Azure, you don't worry about the virtual network and subnet, because whenever you're gonna create a new VM, Azure would provide that one. Okay, so that VM, that virtual network and subnet and all, Azure would provide. So you can easily create it. Okay, so here are some benefits we can get it. So the thing is, first one is scalability. See, you can increase or decrease the power, like by adding more memory, like increasing the RAM size and then increasing the storage capacity. Like that, we can do the scaling here. Okay, and also, which is providing a pay-as-you-go model. Okay, pay-as-you-go model means nothing. You only pay for that time you are using, your VM is running. Okay, so making it as a cost efficient. Okay, so this is the second advantage here. And then customization, that is going to be the next thing. Okay, see, you can install any operating system. It can be Windows or Linux or Mac or any other Linux flavored, like Red Hat or any other image. That is, if you felt like if that particular operating system which is suitable for your VM means, yes, you can pick all the images, you can pick the respective images from Azure and then you can install it in your VM. Okay, at the time of VM creation, you have to tell which image you're gonna use. Okay, if you gonna choose that option, means after the creation, it would install the operating system there. Okay, and flexibility. See, if you are using this virtual machine for a small project, but later you wanted to increase the hardware capacity for a next project, means here we have an option. Okay, which is recommended in enterprises applications as well. Okay, so literally these are all the things in VM. And let's go to the next service, which is Azure App Service. Okay, literally it's a platform as a service, like that we can tell. Okay, so what it helps, literally, see, this cloud platform that helps developers can quickly build their application and run their web applications, mobile applications, and then API applications easily. Okay, and then here the main important thing is no need to worry about the server configurations. Okay, managing the infrastructure, these things and all would take over by the vendor, who's that? Azure. Okay, our job is we just gonna deploy application and then we just gonna access it. and then that building the application, and then running the application, and then mapping the SSL certification, mapping the domain name, mapping the hardware capacity. These are all the things we gonna perform in this apps. We are doing in this app service. That backend hardware configurations and all that particular vendor who's that Azure would take over. And I have a sample architecture diagram. See, um, via internet, anybody can access our Azure App Service. And then the main important thing is to access an Azure App Service, we should get a Azure App Service plan. Okay, so in that plan, we should tell what kind of application we gonna deploy inside. See, if we gonna deploy production application means we should get production subscription. Okay, like that we need to get the respective tier. And here also some benefits are there. First thing is multiple languages. Um, which is supports .NET, Java application, Python application, Node.js, and a PHP also it would accept. That's the first advantage. And then automatic scaling. Okay, so if you gonna use more apps, or else if your apps gets more requests, so in that time your apps getting difficulty means if you set that automation in a backend, that would create the hardware capacity. Okay, so this Azure App Service automatically scale up the resource to handle the load. And then here we have a built-in security features. Okay, it comes security features like just before I said right that SSL certification integration we can perform with our Active Directory, and then it would ensure our application as safe or not, like that it would check. And then you can use this in CDS, continuous deployment. See, you can connect to your app to GitHub or Azure DevOps. If you're gonna update anything in that source code repository, that would automatically pull the data from the GitHub or DevOps, Azure DevOps repository. Okay, no need to upload that again into our app service. Okay, once if we gonna create an app service means we literally automating that. If in future if I wants to update anything in that GitHub repository or Azure DevOps repository means that would automatically reflect into my app service. Okay, I don't want to specifically to deploy the new changes again into my app service. Whatever the thing I'm gonna deploy into my app service means that would triggers the workflow or pipeline. Then that respective data would reflect here. Yeah, and then use cases which are where and all people would use means web applications, and then API based applications, and then mobile backend applications. Okay, that server side logics, database integrations. So to perform these kind of activity, they would use this. And let's go to the next one, which is Azure SQL. Okay, initially we know if we wanted to access a database means in that time we should create a server, then we need to configure the DB engine. After that only we can access the database service. It's a earlier case that we know. But in today's concept, in today's case, no need to keep any resources. Okay, that's the current model, current culture. Okay, if we gonna create a one particular server and there if you're gonna apply the DB engine configuration means there are some difficulties there. You should take over the responsibility to that particular server. Okay, you should maintain it. You should check the security stuff. Like some things you have to do that. So for that, what Azure doing for us is they're providing one service, Azure SQL. This also literally a platform as a service. They're giving the platform. There itself we can create the SQL servers. Okay, and the important thing is according to the hardware maintenance and then that resource which we get from the vendor, we need to pay amount accordingly. Okay, so these are all the things, guys, in this Azure SQL. In addition to that, here some key features are there. Okay, let me explain that. See, before that, we'll see the diagram. Say Azure SQL. Azure SQL would be in the backend of web server. Okay, if web server gonna hit any information means the data would reflect here only. And also this SQL server would be in a private state. You can also expose this into public, but private is the recommended one because there we maintaining the crucial information. So that we should keep SQL as private. Okay, coming to the benefits part. Okay, so fully managed. What is that fully managed? See, Microsoft automatically handles the routine tasks like backups and then security patches, updates. Okay, so that we don't want to do that by manually. Okay, that's the first advantage here. And coming to the high availability, see, Azure SQL database literally ensures your database is always available with the minimum downtime and make it reliable for critical applications. Okay, so that's what here we getting, and then here also automatic scaling is that. Okay, here also we can get the automatic scaling. Say which adjusts the resources like CPU, memory based on the apps needed. Okay, it would analyze the apps need and then it would increase the hardware capacity accordingly. So that it can easily handle if traffic gonna increase means it would automatically do the scaling means we don't want to change anything by manual. Okay, manual scaling no need to perform here. That's the third advantage. And coming to the fourth one, which is built-in security. Internally, it has some features like firewall protection and then database encryptions like that. Okay, these things, these features are uh, giving the security to our data. Okay, so this is what literally SQL. And let's go to the next service, which is Azure Kubernetes. Okay, so Kubernetes means what? See, literally, when developers should run their application and they wanted to manage the container-based application means AKS is the best choice. And also AKS, it's an open source tool initially. Okay, once Google introduced the service as an open source, later all vendors like AWS, Azure, GCP integrated that service into their infrastructure. Okay, later they providing that same service to their customers. Okay, but here so many advantages is there. See, here we can automate the deployment and then scaling and then management of apps is very easy. Okay, and here if you want to do the uh, you know manage the traffic issue means here we have an option traffic manager and then load balancer. You can easily integrate those services also inside. Okay, and if you want to go with high availability in a more cost efficient way means you can go with this Azure Kubernetes. Okay, I have an example. See, so this is my client application, this is my load balancer. If anybody gonna access this load balancer URL, they would get the application which I deployed in this pod. Okay, pod means it's literally like a container. In that container, whichever the application I'm having, right, this pod would literally redirect the response to my load balancer URL. Okay, but in this image, they're telling like all pod has the same image, but in reality, if you want to keep a different image means you can keep it. So internally, this Kubernetes would keep multiple servers in the backend, and also if you gonna execute, if you gonna deploy a small application means this Kubernetes is not recommended. If you want to deploy more application with high availability means you can go with this Kubernetes. In that time, this AKS is recommended. And here also features are there same that managed Kubernetes. See, Azure take care of all the complex setups, so you can easily focus on your running applications. And then the second thing is auto scaling. As we said, just before we discussed auto scaling, right? Same kind of thing. AKS automatically adjusts the number of app instance to handle the demands. Okay, and then easy integration, which integrates well with other Azure services like Azure DevOps for smooth, for smooth deployment and then the management. Okay, so not only Azure DevOps, if you want to integrate with a load balancer or VMSS or any service means, you can automation account. Like if you want to integrate with means, you can integrate it, no problem. And then security, see, AKS literally giving security features. For example, RBAC it's providing. Okay, RBAC means role-based access control, which to ensure only authorized users can access our application. Okay, so literally it providing many security features. And just before I explained only that RBAC. In addition to that, so many security features are there. We'll see in an upcoming part. And coming to the final one, last but not the least, Azure Functions. Okay, so Azure Functions, it's literally a serverless computing service. Okay, there if you want to execute a sample code or any code, whatever the code you wanted to execute, means you can use this Azure function. See, if you want to execute a code, you don't have any platform or infrastructure means, what you have to do, you have to install the respective package runtime in your system or anywhere. After that only you can execute that respective programming file. But here they're giving so many runtimes to us. Okay, and there if we gonna deploy the source code, whenever we wants to execute, that means there we can execute it, or else any event based execution you wanted to perform, or else scheduled based trigger should perform means there also we have an option, we can do that. Say this is that example. So the only thing is we should write a code. If any event or data gonna add means Azure Functions would execute. Okay, see here we have some features. First one is serverless. See, no need to worry about the server management or infrastructure. Azure automatically runs your code when needed. And then pay per use. See, you just gonna pay only the time you runs the code. Okay, so that it making it as cost efficient, and supports multiple languages: C Sharp, Java, Python, and then JavaScript, and many languages. And then it has event driven architecture. These functions can be triggered by events like HTTP requests, timer based event triggers would be there, and then database changes or messaging in a queue, like more event driven things are there. Okay, and yeah, that's it, team. So I hope this video helps you. Okay, team, then let's connect in the next part. So in that topic, sorry, in that session we'll discuss more things, and then I'll try to take a more real-time concept in that video. Okay, so yeah, thank you everyone, bye, thanks for watching.